This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, David Muir.
Good evening, everyone. We're coming on a little earlier than normal tonight for a moment 9 months in the making. Look at the live pictures at this hour. NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams are making their long-awaited return to Earth from the International Space Station. Of course, this would end a remarkable space odyssey. Their SpaceX capsule just becoming visible. You see it there in the live picture. They are speeding through the Earth's atmosphere, heading for a splashdown just minutes from now, about 5:57 Eastern Time, obviously about 6 minutes or so from now, just off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida. The parachutes we are about to see deploying here about 4 minutes before splashdown. That should happen around 5:53 Eastern Time, about 2.5 minutes or so from now. We should see that at any moment. You can watch it as it comes through the cloud cover. Of course, as you know, we've been reporting on this story. Astronauts Wilmore and Williams arriving on the Boeing Starliner spacecraft for what was supposed to be an 8-day mission. That was back in June. We reported on the technical issues. The Starliner kept them from returning home, NASA sending it back to Earth empty, keeping the astronauts on the space station until a relief crew arrived this past weekend. Now, their SpaceX Dragon capsule docking at the space station, astronauts Wilmore and Williams, along with 2 other astronauts, then boarding a second SpaceX capsule, undocking from the station, beginning their trip home early today, in the early morning hours. Of course, back here on Earth, their families have been waiting months for this moment. Suni Williams' family telling our team that everyone is looking forward to celebrating their return. We do have coverage on the ground. Faith Abube is at Cape Canaveral in Florida. And Faith, as we look at these pictures, hard to imagine both of these families really waiting for their loved ones to finally come home after what turned out to be nearly a year in space.
Yeah, David, and it's not just the families that are excited. It's also the NASA team. NASA officials we've spoken to over the last several days tell us that in this moment, they're on pins and needles as they are watching the spacecraft come closer and closer to the Florida coast. They've done this multiple times, but each splashdown is unique. Each one presents its own opportunity, and so they're watching this closely. But no one more excited about this splashdown that they're waiting for here than the family members who have had to sacrifice so much over the last 9 months. Remember, as you just mentioned here, Suni and Butch went for that 8-day mission on that Boeing Starliner on that crewed flight, that first test flight there with the crew. They were supposed to come in just a few days. As Navy captains, retired Navy captains, they are aware that things change. They've done this long enough to know that there are changes that come with this. However, no one would have imagined that this would have taken 9 months for them to come back home. Their families anxiously waiting, listening to them, trying to get word on what will happen. And of course, we're watching all of this happen in real time.
Faith Abube, thank you. Of course, we've seen the parachutes deployed there moments ago as Faith was reporting on the families waiting for their return. Look at these remarkable pictures as these 2 astronauts who were in space for nearly a year. The parachutes now deployed, obviously working for that final descent to slow down the capsule for this splashdown just off the coast of Florida. Let's listen in to NASA for a moment. Let's get a feel for this.
They continue to ensure that the Dragon spacecraft slows down even further. As we mentioned, Freedom will be traveling 16 miles per hour when it splashes down off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida, here at 2:57 p.m. Pacific time this afternoon. And there we go.
We have visual on 4 healthy males.
There you have it, 4 parachutes now deployed. We knew there would be a total of 4. And as we heard from the NASA scientists there who are narrating this video, 16 miles per hour when that capsule splashes down just off the coast of Florida. We're joined by retired NASA astronaut and ABC News contributor Katie Coleman, also watching this. Katie, you know this all too well. You were on the International Space Station yourself, but it's still incredible to see.
Now awaiting visuals of splashdown.
You know, it's actually it was hard to breathe.
When you were coming back yourself, and describe for me what this moment is like for these 2 astronauts. We know there are 2 others accompanying them in their return to space, but what this moment feels like and what it feels like when they actually splash down into the water.
Well, I think I hate to say it, but I think we've seen the scariest part. At least it's the part where I wasn't breathing, which is wanting to see those 2 drogue chutes that start the sequence.
You're looking at 800
and then
a live view of Crew 9
seeing all 4
just minutes away from splashing down off the.
And do you remember what this moment was like, Katie, yourself, in the return to Earth, and what this must be like for them?
It's a wild ride up until just now, and now you're just waiting for the water and knowing that it's probably going to be a pretty good, solid landing there, but you've got instruments to tell you when it's coming. And again, you just want everything to be working right.
We're looking at the 4 astronauts inside the capsule right now, Katie. And can you imagine the 2 astronauts who went up there for 8 days and ended up being up there for nearly a year, what that must have been like?
I have to tell you that there's a bunch of us that are envious.
I had a feeling you would say that they had extra time to spend up in space. For those of you who know what it's like, you served twice on the International Space Station. But again, we're watching these final moments before splashdown. We're about a minute away. And take me back to this moment. What does it feel like as you hit the water when you're inside that capsule?
I came down in the Soyuz, so it wasn't quite the same as the water, a little harder. And at the same time, what happens is they're actually going to submerge the whole capsule under the water. It looks like a pretty calm sea there. That's always a good sign. But I remember just looking and watching the numbers count down, and you're just waiting and waiting, and it's the longest wait ever, I'll tell you.
Former NASA astronaut Katie Coleman watching these live pictures with us coming in from NASA. What you're looking at here is we're on the air a little earlier than normal tonight. These 2 astronauts, along with 2 others accompanying them, they are just moments away from splashdown, traveling at about 16 miles per hour at this point. They have 4 parachutes to ensure a safe landing as they come back down to the water. If we just get rid of the topic bar for just a moment so we can actually see the...
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
Back on Earth. And there the applause.
Oh,
Back on Earth.
I've got chills
the 3
just
words
looking at it.
that the family of Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams have been waiting for 9 months now. Their 2 loved ones went up to the International Space Station to serve for 8 days or so. They said a number of times from the International Space Station that they did not mind being up there longer than they had planned, but that the most welcome home, they just said, from NASA headquarters, welcome home to those 4 astronauts as we keep our eyes trained on the live pictures here.
An amazing, what a ride.
They said the most difficult part, as I was saying, of ending up there for more than a year was being away from their family. Butch Wilmore missed most of his younger daughter's senior year of high school. He has an older daughter as well who's in college, so a reunion between Dad and his 2 girls here when they can get out of the capsule and out of the water here.
And as you can see on your
We did
screen,
anticipate it would be quite some time before we
confirmation
actually
of
see them now. We're going to see the
Dragon
capsule
Freedom
here
has
floating in the
returned
water.
home, and NASA
It's about
astronauts
a half an hour to 45 minutes before you actually expect to see the astronauts themselves. We'll have that for you on World News Tonight coming up a short time from now. Sonny Williams had been using the internet on board the International Space Station to talk with her mother, who is a senior, as she checked in on her and her health and her well-being, letting her know that she'd be home soon. She said she looked forward to reuniting with her mom, her husband Michael, and her 2 Labradors, Gunner and Bailey.
In the distance, we can
We're going to
see
be
the
awfully
recovery
excited when
vessel
Mom comes through
making
that
its way.
door.
Copy, you're in section 2 for the environmental assessment.
So
in
welcome back to
4.800.
Earth. Crew
That is
9,
not
you can see a
necessary
recovery
today.
vessel there in the distance, which will certainly take the 4 astronauts, again, Butch Wilmore, Sonny Williams, and 2 other astronauts who accompanied them back. And this was on a SpaceX capsule. As you know, they went up on a Boeing Starliner in the first place almost a year ago. And the initial plan was to come home on a Boeing vessel as well. That did not work out. Eventually, it was a SpaceX capsule that would bring them back. Let's listen to what they're saying.
After approximately 17 hours of a return journey from space.
The SpaceX recovery ship and team have been waiting for Dragon's splashdown, and they will now make their way to the splashdown location. The teams have been ready and waiting about 3 nautical miles away, so it's going to take them about 30 minutes or so to make their way to
SpaceX Freedom. Pretty sure we're in stable 1.
Copy, stable 1. We see the same.
Once they make it to the recovery vessel, as you heard right there.
It's going to take about 30 minutes for the recovery team to make their way over to Nick, Sonny, Butch, and Alexander, who are still seated and secured inside that Dragon spacecraft there on your screen. Incredible views there of that thermal protection system, or TPS.
Reports from NASA right there. You heard it for yourself. They are secured in their seats still inside that capsule. All 4 astronauts okay. That's the word from NASA. They said it would be about 30 minutes or so to get them firmly in touch here with the retrieval vessel that's off in the distance to take them obviously back to the mainland.
So when we saw the Dragon capsule docked at
This all
station,
playing out
it looked very
off the
different.
coast of
The
Florida.
panel that
And Faith, you
protects
heard the
covers
applause
the main parachutes,
at
that was,
NASA and beyond,
still
I'm
intact
sure.
as
This
well
has
as the
been a
panels that
homecoming that
close
so many
where
have been waiting
the
for.
parachutes are located.
It really has, David, and family members cannot wait to start hugging them. But of course, we know that there is a process from here. After their capsule is recovered there in Tallahassee, they will be taken to a helicopter where they'll be flown to Houston. There will be an extensive medical evaluation to make sure they're doing well. Of course, they've spent quite a significant amount of time in space. That takes a toll. They haven't had any sort of radiation, sunlight, or felt gravity in about 9 months. And so they will need to actually be evaluated to make sure that they're okay for even months and months, even years from now. But as we're watching these pictures, David, it will not be surprising if we see them being carried out on stretchers. That is a normal part of this process because of the toll that space travel takes on a person. And so we're watching all this play out. The family members, again, they thought this was just going to be an 8-day mission. They had chores and things ready for Sonny and Butch to do back at home. They had to keep extending that over and over again, and hopefully they'll be able to reunite with them as soon as possible, David.
Faith, thank you. Let's listen into NASA as they now try to get these astronauts out of the capsule.
To maneuver the spacecraft. Unfortunately, those hypergolics are unable to be breathed. They are toxic. And so this team here is doing those initial safety checks to make sure that it is safe for the rest of the recovery team to approach the spacecraft. They're also checking to make sure that any residuals from the pyros are safe and are not going to cause any issues. We can see the team working their way around the spacecraft to do these basically these sniff tests on all of those Draco thrusters.
You can see the recovery teams there circling the capsule, making sure everything is okay. And we can tell you that SpaceX is reporting that all of the astronauts are okay. They were smiling, still buckled into their seats after splashdown. They're right inside that SpaceX capsule, now bobbing in the water off the coast of Florida. Again, they left at the early morning hours, undocked from the International Space Station. And this has been a story, really, the country has been following for nearly a year now, because two of these astronauts, as you know, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, had been on this International Space Station mission that was supposed to last just a little more than a week, and it ended up being nearly a year. Just waiting if they're going to give us a peek here. We did believe it would be about 20 to 30 minutes before we could actually see some of these astronauts emerge. But we'll stick with this a bit longer here and listen into NASA as they get closer to that moment of not only letting the country know, but letting two families know that their loved ones are home. Let's listen.
5:57 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon.
Approximately 17 hours prior to splashdown, Dragon autonomously undocked from the International Space Station, completed a series of departure burns, jettisoned its trunk section, and performed its final burn, the deorbit burn. This placed the Dragon spacecraft on a trajectory toward Tallahassee, Florida. Dragon successfully re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, followed by deployment of its parachutes to slow the spacecraft down to a
Former
gentle
astronaut
splashdown.
Katie Coleman,
We're now
who
going
flew
to
twice
follow
on the
the
Space Shuttle Columbia, spent almost 6 months living and working aboard the International Space Station. And Katie, as you look at this picture, I know you came back sort of a different way, if you will, from these four astronauts, but describe what it must be like inside that capsule. And as we've heard from SpaceX now, all four astronauts smiling and okay.
And so what we did just hear there,
I think there is great joy. And I know for me it was it's a little bit bewildering to be back to Earth, but it's also a little bit of a relief to have come through that last most dangerous part of spaceflight.
SpaceX recovery personnel actually works to climb aboard.
And what happens from this point on as we see the recovery crew there in the water, helping them to get back to land? But what plays out from here?
Minutes or so until
They're actually that crew is going to take literally like a bridle, like you would put on a horse. And they're going to, hook that onto the capsule, and that then allows the whole tow it back to the ship, which happens quite quickly. And so the whole capsule ends up on the ship, and that's when they'll then open the hatch and have the crew come out. And they do most often put them in these chairs that look like stretchers. Some of that reason is also because they're doing experiments and they want to take some data before they move around.
And as we can see, Katie, the capsule is appears to be right side up. You can see one of the NASA workers there climbing the capsule in the water as it bobs in the water. And as you say, they'll try to lift the entire capsule right onto the boat.
Yeah, they will sort of drag it in.
They're going to drag it into the boat and then try to lift it up onto the boat.
Yep, they've got a crane. It's all they've done this. Actually, they've gotten it down pretty well.
And what does it feel?
Used to be a little bit of a rough ride, I heard in the beginning.
What are the effects on the body? You know, they've dealt sort of with weightlessness for so long. To have made this splashdown, and what initially, if you can recall, what does it feel like to actually encounter gravity again?
It's somehow it's not about muscles, and people think that we've gotten a lot weaker up there when actually we're working out 5 or 6 times a week. And so we're able to I came back in the best shape of my life, really. And so it's not about muscles, but it is about your vestibular system, your balance, because we're used to being able to float and fly everywhere. And so just by being on the ground where it's so much more gravity than we're used to, it's almost like the Earth is like when you first get out, you see the world just kind of going back and forth, and it's pretty violent. And many people are nauseous. I can't speak for them. I can say that I was, but we have some great medicine for that too.
These astronauts were very honest. They said they appreciated their extra time, that they were prepared in some respects for the possibility, should anything go awry, that they would have to spend more time up there. They were given more homework, if you will. Katie, you said you were envious in many ways of their extra time in space. But talk to me a little bit about what even they acknowledged, which is that this was also spaceflight coming home, and it always comes with inherent risks, and what that's like to go through.
Well, it's certainly, it's never spaceflight's never going to be safe, and I would say the 3 hardest parts are going up, being up there, and coming down. And it's been interesting. My family and I participated in a documentary, a PBS documentary called Space, The Longest Goodbye, where it was all about what it's like for families. And I got to find out a little bit about what my family felt like when I was gone. And, I think it's hard for them too. They have to keep up kind of a, brave face. And even though, they know you miss them, it's still, it's just hard for everybody.
We've heard from Butch Wilmore.
We actually do have some great Sunday morning videos. On every week, it's still the same on the space station. Every week, you get to have a video conference with your family, and we proved that you can actually give that look from space. I heard you've been rude to your grandma.
that mom can still deliver that look. Stay in line, even if she is quite a distance away. We're looking at the images.
But it's still going to be nice to get to be down together, and that first hug. There's nothing like that first hug, which will happen in Houston.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's going to be like, especially when they've waited so long for it. Butch Wilmore, as I mentioned just when we came on here, has 2 daughters. His youngest is actually in her senior year of high school. And here we are in spring, so he's missed much of that senior year, and his older daughter is in college, so there'll be much to bring Dad up to speed on, even though there are those phone calls from space, as you point out, Katie. And then Sunny Williams returns to give her husband a hug. The 2 Labradors, Gunnar and Bailey, a hug too. And this was interesting, Katie, because she talked about her mother, her elderly mom, who she checked in with very often with that extended period in space. She wanted to make sure her mom was doing well.
As you see, they are preparing
actually,
to take place.
My mom, or my husband said, I contacted him more from space than we managed to do on the ground when I was training. We actually have an internet protocol phone that we can use, and it's just that little bit of staying in touch explaining where something is in the house that can't be found. But also, like, we read stories. Even though my son was a little bit older, he was 10, this was a nice way to be together without actually, having to say, how are you? How was your day? And it made life a little bit normal, just a different kind of normal.
We're going to stay here with these live pictures until the moment we see these two astronauts, especially given the time this country has spent just hoping for their return and sort of imagining what it must be like, being sent on a mission in space and then finding out that things didn't go completely as planned, that they were safe while up there, but that they would be up there longer than they had initially intended. They were given more work to do while they were up there, and they simply waited for NASA to decide it was safe for them to come home. NASA always contended that they weren't completely isolated in space, that if they had to get them home, they would have used the capsule attached to the International Space Station, but that they wanted to do it with the safest of protocols, to have the two capsules at the International Space Station. And eventually, it wasn't the Boeing Starliner that brought them home. And of course, there'll be questions about that going forward. It was the SpaceX capsule that brought them home over a multi-hour final trip home. And as you can see, a beautiful day there in the waters just off Florida. I'm sure that for them, it's never been a more beautiful blue when they get out of this capsule and look at that water. It's a beautiful picture for us to look at, but imagine for the four astronauts and certainly for Butch and Sunny, who have waited so long. And as Katie tells us, both of these families knew exactly where their loved one was. They didn't have to wonder. They were at the International Space Station, and Katie actually joked that she and her family perhaps had more regularity when it came to communicating and catching up with one another than they did when she was on Earth. So in many ways, their schedules will change. They'll have them back at home, which will be very different from having to connect with them over video conference. And Faith, who's also right there in Florida on the ground, they'll go through a series of checks here. They don't go directly home, obviously, because of the effects just physically on their bodies. Katie Coleman said she was in the best shape of her life when she came back from the International Space Station. Maybe they're all onto something here, but they have to go through a rigorous checkup before they're allowed to go home.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, it will not be surprising if we saw them on stretchers coming out of that space capsule because of just the toll that the space travel has taken on them. We saw Butch and Sunny earlier talking about how they've been working out, what their day is like. They wake up in the morning, they check their emails. If it's a day they're able to communicate with family, they talk about that. And then they wait for their assignments from the ground here. Is it a day where they're working on an experiment? They were able to do several experiments to further space exploration. They were able to grow plants, grow food on the the International Space Station. Sunny actually was able to break a record for the longest time spent spacewalking by a woman, 62 hours and 6 minutes. She made history while she was there as well. And then they would just work out and make sure they maintain their bodily functions. They maintain their health condition as well. They've tried everything they can, but again, it is a tough assignment, mentally, physically. They've been trying to actually calm the effect of all of that over the last several months, but they will be evaluated by doctors. The impact, it's not just the muscle mass loss, it's not just the bone density, it's the fluid buildup, it's the feeling of gravity. One astronaut who recently came back described it as, for example, when they're in space and it's zero gravity, they don't actually even feel their clothes on them. Their clothes essentially just float on them. When they come back to Earth, their clothes sometimes feel like sandpaper. It's heavy, it weighs them down. Walking, which we take for granted, could be an issue as well. So a lot of tests they're going to have to undergo. A lot of that process will also inform NASA in terms of other people who are going back in space and expanding space exploration to the moon and Mars as well, David.
Faith Abube reporting on this journey home for two astronauts. And of course, we know there are four inside that capsule, the two astronauts who accompany them. That capsule being pulled over to the recovery vessel. They'll actually lift the capsule out of the water if all goes well and literally place it on that vessel and then bring it to the shores of Florida. As you can see, a picture-perfect day for the return. And we can tell you that we're getting word that Sunny Williams' mother, who she stayed in contact with so closely over this nearly year-long journey in space, her elderly mother back home, who she said she called often to make sure was doing well. Well, that mom is excited to see her daughter again, Pani Panya. Very happy that Sunny has returned to Earth after this 9-month mission in space. She was promised a call, she says, as soon as Sunny gets a hold of a phone. So I gather that'll happen within the next hour or so. Mom saying she said she's going to call as soon as she gets to a phone. She told us she's going to be delayed, and we said, well, how long? And she said, we're having a little problem with the Starliner, but we'll let you know. So we hung in there and we waited and we waited. And can you imagine? It turned into a 9-month wait for the mom who was waiting back here on Earth for Sunny Williams to come back. Sunny obviously will be reunited with her husband Michael and the Labradors. They have 2 labs that'll be very excited to see her come home as well, although we know dogs don't necessarily know time frame, time that has gone by, but certainly the humans back here on Earth do, and we know Butch's 2 daughters must be excited that their dad is back in the water here, at least, not back on land yet, but in the capsule, and you can see them climbing right up to the hatch there.
They will get on that first helicopter out and arrive at the airport.
Have to say, extraordinary pictures coming in from NASA here. And SpaceX telling us moments ago, for those of you joining us, this is ABC News Live coverage of the return of 2 astronauts. Those 2 astronauts who we had been reporting on for quite some time. They ended up in space for nearly a year. You can see the NASA recovery teams in the water there, the recovery vessel off in the distance. They have obviously made contact with the astronauts, 4 of them inside that SpaceX capsule. SpaceX reporting a short time ago that all 4 astronauts were smiling and still buckled in to their seats. And obviously, they must be just overjoyed to be home, to be safe, and soon to be reunited with their family, although we heard Faith Abube report in great detail there that they've got a little bit of work to do still, being checked out medically to make sure that they readjust. Gravity is now taking hold once again, and Katie Coleman, former astronaut, Katie Coleman with us here for our coverage as well, telling us that the human body does feel different when you come back to Earth. She joked, though, that she was in some of the best shape of her life when she returned from the International Space Station herself.
On board, the nest will be translated to the forward.
Let's listen to NASA here for a moment as they work at the vessel.
Our Crew 9 team members will egress from the Dragon spacecraft. Now, here on your screen, we can see dolphins, actually, who want to come and play with Dragon. Now, one of the fast boats there in place, working to assist the recovery team member. It's incredible. I just love these views. We really see them even better in daytime, but just seeing the recovery team work in tandem to step through each step, to step through each operation. Obviously they're getting quick assists from the honorary part of the recovery team, those dolphins in the water there. Now, the recovery team member that is crawling around the Dragon spacecraft. Earlier, we saw a view where it was like a spider monkey pose. We can see that individual now standing in the bucket where the main parachutes were stored while Dragon was on orbit. Obviously, those main parachutes were utilized for splashdown today. They were deployed and cut from the Dragon capsule, and one of the fast boats, one of the other fast boats of the recovery team, working to.
We're joined now by Hakeem Oluseyi. He's an astrophysicist, science educator, of course, ABC News contributor. Hakeem, great to have you here as well. And as you see there, they're literally on the capsule now. What was that they were actually putting in through the hatch of the capsule?
Is what will be used to lift.
I don't know the answer to that question, David. You should ask Katie.
I will. I
don't
can
know
ask
the
her.
details of that particular process.
So take me through these final steps, though, as they're in the capsule and they're going to be brought over to this vessel.
Yeah, so it's just like Katie described earlier. They have to be towed to the vessel. That's when they'll be let out of the vessel. And it is a standard procedure. Whether when you're in space for a prolonged amount of time, you're losing 1 to 2% of muscle bone mass per month. So your bones are subject to fracture. So they want to be very careful with them. So they put them in these stretchers and then they take them in.
I don't know if you can see this, Hakeem, but as we look at these live pictures, there are dolphins in the waters off of Florida there, giving their own welcome to these astronauts who are now back here on Earth. They are in the water. Of course, Sonny Williams, NASA astronaut, retired U.S. Navy officer, and Butch Wilmore, the astronaut, U.S. Navy test pilot. They have been on the International Space Station for 9 months. They're accompanied by Nick Hague. He's a NASA astronaut, U.S. Space Force colonel, and Alexander Gorbanov, a Russian cosmonaut, also inside that capsule. Katie, if you're still with us, same question for you. I don't know if you could see sort of the gentleman climbing the capsule there. Do you have any idea what they were putting in through that sort of hatch on the capsule?
I think they're attaching and maybe making sure it's the actual cables that are going to allow it to be towed in. So it looks like he's reaching into a crevice, but I imagine there's actually a bolt there to be attaching things to.
But it would seem, Katie, from what we can see from these pictures, that this has been, best we can tell, very smooth here.
It really looks that way to me, and I think it's nicer to land when the water's really smooth. I wanted to chime in on what it's like when we get back from space. There's sort of good and bad news. Good news is that basically we're coming back with almost all of the same bone mass, the same bone density that we left with. It may be real. I'll be a guinea pig for a long time to understand what my bones are like. But what we're doing lots of experiments to figure out how do we make sure that people maintain up in space where we do lose it like 10 times faster than a woman who's 70 years old that has osteoporosis. And yet we are maintaining that bone. And here's the bad news. It turns out exercise is here to stay. And so, weight-bearing exercise really seems to make a big difference, things like vitamin D. And there's more details, and I'm sure there's more up-to-date research that I haven't read about yet, but I've been hearing bits and pieces, and I'm always really proud when our research means something for space, but it means a lot for Earth as well.
It certainly does. We can see the dolphins up there in the distance, Katie, still right around that capsule. They must be wondering what is going on here. You can see the capsule being sort of towed in there by some of the cables that Katie Coleman suggested were attached to that little hatch that we can see. I'm sure there's a more scientific term for the hatch itself. You can see just to the right-hand side of your screen there, that circle under the arch, that's called the nest. That they'll place the capsule right on to that nest, as they call it, before the astronauts actually emerge from the capsule. And as Katie said, the effect on the human body is quite profound for any astronaut who goes to space, and certainly those who work on the International Space Station, and even more certainly for those who end up there much longer than 8 days. They were up there for almost 9 months. And here's another view from the recovery vessel itself, looking through the back. You can see the capsule there bobbing in the water just off the edge. Hydraulic arm now being lowered to lift this capsule up out of the water.
Closest to the camera, that is the egress platform.
Freedom. Rigging is almost complete. Approximately 5 minutes until capsule lift.
Approximately 5 minutes until the capsule is lifted. You can hear the NASA sort of narrators here. Gentleman jumping off the capsule right there, swimming back.
That hydraulic arm, as I said before, is the mechanism that
to the other boat.
Lift it.
And Hakeem, just talk a little bit about the reacclimation. First of all, what the body must feel like. Katie told us what it was like to return to Earth, what the splashdown actually feels like. Then the impact on the body itself and how long it takes to sort of reacclimate.
Dragon Freedom being lifted.
Yeah, the body goes through so many changes while in space. The most well-known historically are the muscular and skeletal changes. You lose muscle mass and bone mass if you don't exercise. And now they're aware of that, right? So they perform these exercises. But there's other things that are much more difficult to deal with. One, for example, is the movement of fluids within the body. Normally, the body has to fight against gravity to move fluids upward. When you remove gravity, suddenly all the fluids go upward, right? You get fatter at the top and skinnier at the bottom. Inside your body, there are changes. The shape of the heart changes. It becomes more spherical, and that makes it less efficient at pumping blood. Something similar happens to the eyes. The optic nerve can swell, and the shape of the eye can change, and vision becomes blurry. And not only that, when you're in microgravity, your inner ear, which controls balance, it recalibrates. And so once you're back on Earth, the slightest movement of your head sends you into a super dizzying state of mind. And not only that, your mind is impacted, right? There's a thing called space fog, where cognitive performance declines, people don't think as clear. And finally, they experience 16 sunrises and sunsets every day while in space. So talk about trying to get some sleep. It's going to be difficult.
Very good point. And they've earned a nap or two after all the time they spent in space. Hakeem, stick with us here. Hakeem Oluseyi, of course, an astrophysicist. Katie Coleman, NASA astronaut herself, spent time on the International Space Station, both watching this right along with me here. They said, welcome back to their NASA colleagues right here, the folks at NASA narrating this, not only for us, but inside that capsule as well. The capsule now back on the recovery vessel.
Dragon splashed down, and as you can see there, the spacecraft is already on board the recovery vessel Megan. Things continuing to move very smoothly today throughout the entire operations from the deorbit burn up until this point as well.
And Freedom, it looks like the positioning wasn't quite right, so they are working on repositioning the capsule in the nest now.
So that makes sense. We wondered why they were lifting the capsule up again. They said the positioning wasn't quite what they wanted it to be. Can you imagine being the four astronauts probably saying, it's fine with us, just get us out of here. But anyway, they're going to move the capsule again here and then eventually bring it to that, what's called the nest, right there on that ship. And then it's our understanding that each astronaut, all four of them inside that capsule, will emerge one by one. Just think about some of these numbers here. Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams ended up spending 286 days in space. 286 days. That was 278 days longer than they were supposed to. Initially supposed to be up there just about a week, 8 days or so. They circled Earth 4,576 times. They witnessed about 16 sunrises a day, Hakeem said. He said, can you imagine trying to get sleep with the sun coming up every time you looked up? They traveled about 121 million miles. 121 million miles by the time of that splashdown today. It's been about 30 minutes now since the capsule splashed down in the waters off the coast of Florida. There was a lot of anticipation, certainly, for these two families who had been waiting for their loved ones, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, to come back. Both kept brave faces on the International Space Station. Both smiled, both talked at length about the importance of the work, the extra work that they were getting done. But it was also on their minds, you know, the question of when will we be back home with our families? And they are just moments away now from at least being able to be in contact with their families. As we mentioned, Sonny Williams' elderly mother, telling ABC News that she's very excited to see her daughter again, and that Sonny told her before this voyage home, this final chapter, she told Bonnie, her mother, that she would be the first call as soon as she gets a phone to let mom know that she's home. And perhaps mom is in front of a TV seeing that her daughter's already back and now waiting for that phone call. Faith, as we can see, the capsule is now firmly on this vessel. And it's our expectation that we'll see each astronaut emerge here?
Yes, and they will come out one by one. We expect them to come out on a stretcher just as a precautionary measure. And as we're watching this moment, David, it reminds me recently of something Butch said about this re-entry and how he felt about it. He said, nervous, no. Cautious, yes. As part of space exploration, he always knew the dangers. It comes with a lot of dangers. We saw that when the Boeing Starliner tried to dock at the International Space Station on that 8-day mission. It was a perilous journey, according to Butch himself, but they made it through. They relied on their team. They relied on their years of experience, and that is exactly what they did again today as we watched them re-enter back into the Earth's atmosphere. And now we're watching as they're going to be opening that hatch shortly for them to come out one by one, get that medical evaluation, get flown from here to Houston, Texas, eventually reunite with their family members. Those family members they've been keeping touch with via email and via phone calls occasionally. Butch Wilmore talked about missing basketball practice, talked about missing a majority of the last year of his daughter's high school senior year. He talks about just the mental anguish, the mental toll this assignment has taken on them. And that is, of course, the toughest part of this assignment. They've done space exploration before. They've gone to the ISS before. It's that emotional bond they have with their family members. It's the not knowing when they're coming back.
Faith, just stick with us here.
Actually say that was the toughest part.
Yeah, the not knowing. And Faith, stick with us here for our coverage. We're coming up on 6:30 when World News Tonight comes on the air here in the East. We're going to pause here for a moment so to let the entire audience join us for World News Tonight. So stay tuned here in the East. We begin right now.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, everyone. It is great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. Many of you here in the East and across the nation have been watching our live coverage here of the breaking news, the spectacular images from off the coast of Florida. Tonight, astronauts Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore are back on Earth after their 8-day mission that, of course, turned into 9 months in space. This was the first glimpse of their capsule returning them from space, giant parachutes deployed to slow their plunge back to Earth. You saw the initial 2 right there as we were on the air live, and then after a period of time, 4 parachutes to slow down the capsule to about 16 miles per hour at the time of splashdown. It's splashing down in the waters just off of Tallahassee, Florida. You can see a perfectly blue sky there, just a few clouds. And as we were watching live, dolphins were actually circling the capsule. What a welcome home for 4 astronauts on board the capsule, including the 2 astronauts who spent nearly a year in space when they were supposed to be up there for about a week or so. It was just after midnight that Williams and Wilmore said goodbye to the crew staying behind on the International Space Station. The SpaceX capsule slowly undocking from the ISS, starting the last leg of their journey back to Earth, a 17-hour flight home. A thrill of an accomplishment for NASA tonight, for SpaceX as well, and all the scientists involved, and a huge sigh of relief for Williams and Wilmore's families, and really for all of us who have followed this story. ABC's Faith Abube leading us off at Cape Canaveral in Florida tonight.
This was the dramatic moment just a short time ago.
And splashdown, Crew 9 back on Earth.
Those 2 astronauts who spent 9 months in space after their 8-day mission was unexpectedly extended, finally touching down back here on Earth. The SpaceX Dragon capsule carrying Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore descending toward the landing zone. Parachutes deploying.
And there you see it on your screen, drogue deployment.
Drogue descent rate nominal.
As the spacecraft splashed down safely off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
There it goes.
A recovery team pulling the capsule onto a rescue ship.
And undocking confirmed.
That capsule undocking from the International Space Station in the wee hours of the morning. Their long-awaited arrival marking the end of a nearly year-long stay at the International Space Station.
And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V.
The 2 astronauts launching into space back in early June, successfully completing the Boeing Starliner's first crewed flight. But that brief 8 to 10-day mission stretching into weeks.
They're working very hard on the ground to make sure that we will be able to come home before too long.
And then, more than 9 months after NASA sent the Starliner back to Earth unmanned, following a series of technical issues with the craft. NASA says they were never technically stranded, that they could have gotten them out in an emergency, and that they were waiting for this capsule to arrive. Wilmore, a father of 2 daughters.
My daughter's, I'm going to miss most of her senior year in high school.
While in space, Williams breaking the record for the longest spacewalking time by a woman, 62 hours and 6 minutes in the vacuum of space. On Sunday, the astronauts welcoming the new 4-person crew to the International Space Station. Their mission to finally take over and allow Williams and Wilmore to head home. And tonight, Sunny Williams' family excited to have her back.
I'm very proud of her for being such a role model.
I think she's inspired a lot of young girls all over the world. I think she's touched a lot of people.
And David, Sunny and Butch spent 286 days in space in those 9 months, a significant amount of time for space travel to take its toll on their bodies. The entire crew will undergo an extensive medical evaluation, and they'll be flown to Houston, Texas, where they'll reunite with their family members. David.
And we have some more of these pictures we just want to show here, Faith. And again, just to reiterate for our audience watching, Sunny Williams, Butch Wilmore are now back here on Earth, and Sunny Williams making history, Faith.
They really did. Sunny Williams spent a significant amount of time doing spacewalks during that 9-month period. In fact, she broke the record for the longest spacewalking time for a woman, 62 hours and 6 minutes. That is very significant. Of course, the entire Crew 9 team conducting experiments, growing plants, growing food, helping research prevention of diseases and treatment of diseases. All of that will go towards furthering space exploration, David.
And we want to stay with these live pictures here. Faith, thank you. These are live pictures coming in from NASA, the capsule now on the recovery vessel. On what they call the nest. You can see the NASA workers there approaching the capsule. They're going to open the hatch here. It's believed that all 4 astronauts will emerge from the capsule one by one. And I just want to mention for the other families watching, Sunny Williams is home. She'll reunite with her husband and with her elderly mother, with her 2 Labradors who are certainly going to be happy to see her. Butch Wilmore back, and of course he'll be happy to see his 2 daughters, one who's finishing her senior year in high school, the other in college. He'll be back with his family. She is a retired U.S. Navy officer. He's a U.S. Navy test pilot. And also on board this capsule, Nick Hague, a NASA astronaut, U.S. Space Force colonel, and Alexander Gorbanov, a Russian cosmonaut. And we're looking at this live picture. Our team is going to stay trained on this. The moment we see these astronauts, we're going to show that image to you. And if it happens before the end of this broadcast, we'll certainly show you. So stay tuned right here.